Last night, the ABC moderators asked Donald Trump some simple and direct yes or no questions on the war in Ukraine, abortion, and January 6th. Here's what he said.
I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being uselessly, people being killed by the millions. It's the millions. It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting, which are fake numbers.
Just to clarify in the question, do you believe it's in the U.S. best interest for Ukraine to win this war, yes or no?
I think it's the U.S. best interest to get this war finished and just get it done.
Would you veto a national abortion ban if it came to your desk?
Well, I won't have to because, again, two things. Number one, she said she'll go back to Congress. She'll never get the vote. It's impossible for her to get the vote.
But if I could just get a yes or no, because your running mate, J.D. Vance, has said that you would veto it if it did come to your desk.
Well, I didn't discuss it with J.D. In all fairness, J.D., and I don't mind if he has a certain view, but I think he was speaking for me, but I really didn't. Look, we don't have to discuss it because she'd never be able to get it.
You were the president. You were watching it unfold on television. It's a very simple question as we move forward toward another election. Is there anything you regret about what you did on that day? Yes or no?
I had nothing to do with that other than they asked me to make a speech. I showed up for a speech. I said, I think it's going to be big. I went to Nancy Pelosi and the mayor of Washington, D.C., and the mayor put it back in writing, as you know. I said, you know, this is going to be a very big rally or whatever you want to call it. And again, it wasn't done by me. It was done by others.
So he won't say that Ukraine wants to win. He didn't say that he would veto an abortion ban, and he has no regrets from January 6th, at least none that he would say. Joining us now, former Hillary Clinton campaign manager Robbie Mook and former chief strategist for the Bush-Cheney 2004 presidential campaign, also an MSNBC senior political analyst, Matthew Dowd. Matthew, no clear answers on those three very direct questions.
Are you surprised, actually? I mean, he can't have a clear answer because the answer, if it was clear, isn't good for him. It's not good for him on abortion. It's not good for him in Ukraine. And it's not good for him on what happened on January.
Why can't he say very clearly that he wants Ukraine to win? Why is that bad for him?
Because him and Vladimir Putin have some sort of weird dynamic that he doesn't want to get on the opposite side of Vladimir Putin in this. And he has actually stated, as you know, stated publicly, he thinks that the way to end this war is basically to allow Vladimir Putin to have what he wants. So he can't say it because he doesn't believe it. And, you know, the reality is his relationship with Putin actually compromises him in being able to make a decision on that. I mean, I think his only answer, unfortunately, at this time, because he's answered these things so many different ways and so many different times, is to give a word salad. And that's what he did.
Do you think it was beneficial for the Harris campaign, Robbie, to allow Donald Trump to take center stage last night, to put him in center stage, goad him, get him to talk, make the debate about his fitness, his ability to stay on topic, his own manner?
Well, I think anytime they can, reinforce the contrast in this race, it is to their benefit. And so I think this was absolutely a helpful moment for the campaign. One pause that I always have on all of this is I think what we're talking about today is, people eating dogs and cats and, what he said about Vladimir Putin and so on. What the Harris campaign has to get done over the few remaining weeks we have in this campaign is reinforce to a very small set of voters that she understands the economic struggles that they're facing and that she has real plans to deal with that. She outlined those plans at the debate. So I think this was a helpful moment for her. But there's a little bit of a trap you can fall into with Trump sometimes where despite how bad he makes himself look, he drives the narrative out of these events. He chooses what we're talking about. And so I'm sure at the Harris campaign right now, there's a little bit of stepping back to say, OK, how do we get back to our message, what we want people to know about Harris herself, because she got into this race late. And so there are still voters who feel like they don't know enough about her, and that needs to be, addressed.
So with a caveat on polling, again, we don't know how it's going to play out, but 28% of voters told the Times Siena poll that they needed to know more about Harris. As you said, they don't know enough about her. And that seems to be backed up by what we heard last night from various voters in various states. Interviews that our NBC News reporters did. Let me play one of them. I think this is from Pennsylvania, a voter who is trying to figure out whether they want to vote for Donald Trump or Kamala Harris.
I really, really want to like her so much. Like, I do like her. I do.
Is there a but?
There is a but, because one, I don't think that she has actual policies that are going to be effective. Maybe she will if she gets voted in, because she'll have more time. But I don't think that anything she is mentioning right now is realistic.
All right, so you heard it right there, Robbie. She wants to hear more still. Kamala Harris was able to get out quite a bit of policy, stuff that she's laid out before on housing, on the child tax care credit, on opportunities for small businesses. She hit those 3 points home over and over and over again. Is that going to be enough?
Well, right. I think, right. That's why she was hitting them over and over again. It's so hard to break through. Yeah, this is really tough because the voters want to hear more policy. But at the end of the day, these things aren't won on policy. And that's a big mistake that we make often as Democrats. So I think what people are really saying is they just, for whatever reason, aren't comfortable enough yet. They maybe haven't seen enough or heard enough that makes them feel like she's focused or addressed on their concerns. I feel really good on the substance based on the policies she's put out, based on her history, based on her story. You heard a lot about this at the convention. So I think this is just about keeping the eye on the prize and really reinforcing her story, her vision for the future to the voters, and it will get through. But again, Donald Trump at every turn is going to try to stir up some sort of controversy that will block her ability to break through with what she needs to tell
So, Matthew,
people.
how does she get that exposure? What does she need to do? Is it sitting down for more interviews with the press? Love to have her here, obviously.
Well, I mean, it's a variety of things, but the problem with that, I think that Donald Trump has, that now that the vice president has an advantage, is this is the last moment, unless there's another debate, where she's going to talk to millions of people in an unscripted way in a debate, as opposed to television commercials and that. This, I've said this before, a debate is worth 20 campaign days. 20 campaign days is what a debate is worth. And basically, she won 20 campaign days last night. And that actually puts Donald Trump. I don't understand why Donald Trump is saying, I don't need another debate. I don't want another debate. He needs another debate because he needs to change the dynamic of the race, because the dynamic of the race, if it locks in at a 3 or 4 point Vice President Harris margin in the course of this. And the other thing I'll add is we talk about undecided voters. After last night's debate, basically, there are no undecided voters. The undecided voters that say they're undecided at this point in time are basically voters who already know what they're going to vote for, but just don't want to say, or two, aren't going to vote. 100 million Americans in this country aren't going to vote in this election. 100 million who are eligible will not vote. And so, to me, the goal in the aftermath of this is to basically motivate your supporters. Motivate your supporters until Election Day, because if she can motivate her supporters until Election Day, she wins a close race by 3 or 4 points.
Oh, maybe there are some more voters out there. I mean, you had the Taylor Swift endorsement. She's telling people who she wants, not saying who they should vote for, but also giving a link on how to register and early vote, which she said. So we'll see if that moves the needle at all. Robbie Mook, Matthew Dowd. Gentlemen, thank you.